Hello, my loves. Welcome back to Chemistry with Kismet Tarot. I am Monica, the Kismet Chemist. If you are new to my channel, welcome to the family. I am honored to have you here. If you are returning, welcome back. I have missed you. So Capricorn rising, we are going to be talking about Scorpio season of 2022. If you are looking for a little bit more information about what it means to be a Capricorn rising, please, by all means, go check out the readings that I did for Libra season. Those were the first round of rising sign messages as I rolled out this series. And in the very beginning, you can go and watch the intro to that. I talk about what it means to be a Capricorn rising. Now, because I've already covered that and we do have the eclipse pattern, so we do have a lot of energy to work through both collectively as well as individually, I did want to dive into what the messages were here and really get into what it is that your guides and spirit and the cosmos are asking you to become aware of in your life along this journey and during the month or the zodiac season of Scorpio, which runs from October 23rd until November 22nd. Now, with Scorpio season this year, we have the partial solar eclipse in Scorpio, the total lunar eclipse, which happens in the sign of Taurus, and that closes out the eclipse pattern for the year of 2022. And we also have Mars going retrograde in the sign of Gemini, and that is happening on October 30th. And Mars will be retrograding in Gemini until I believe it's January 12th of 2023. And this is the first time Mars has been retrograde since 2020, and he retrograded in Aries, but the first time he's been retrograde in the sign of Gemini since 2008, which means that the energies here are jam-packed. There are so many things that we are learning, we are being called within, awarenesses and adaptions and progress and growth that we can make through this transit. I did want to mention, if you want to work with the planets and with the energies instead of working against them, my retrograde guidebook for Mars's retrograde cycle is available on Amazon in ebook, paperback, and Kindle Unlimited. Please go check it out. The links are in the description box below. Now, if you didn't catch rising sign messages during Libra season, the way that these work is we look at the 4 primary moon phases, and then we look at how these moon phases are going to impact you directly based off of 4 primary areas of your life and what houses these areas will fall in within your natal chart using whole sign systems. That's why knowing your rising sign and going with your rising sign is so important with these messages, because these are very, very specific to the houses and these specific areas of life for the moon phases. That way, you start learning and understanding the way that the cosmic energies actually impact your life based off of the time, the date, the place in which you were born. The one place that is so very personal to who you are and what your path is here in the world. We look at this chart and how this stuff is going to impact you, but it also gives you the opportunity to see other people within Capricorn risings who are going through the same themes, the same messages, the same energies, so that you don't feel quite so alone during this. And if you are wondering, how could I possibly not feel so alone during this? Please check out my latest video of Let's Talk with listening versus hearing, because that is something that I do discuss. So we are going to jump right into it. If you are new to my channel, I did want to explain throughout the month of October, because it is spooky season, we are working with the witch runes. And so each of the piles correlates to a different moon phase, as well as each of them having their own rune and an overall theme card. As I was preparing for rising sign messages, I actually got a message to use the Elder Futhark runes as the overall energy for the entire season of Scorpio season for each individual sign. This is when I sat down with my guides, I was like, well, why am I doing this? And one of the reasons why is because it's about learning how to blend things together, learning to see that all of these things are interconnected in new ways, in a way that maybe you wouldn't see it before. So if we work with specific runes that are designed to be like the Elder Futhark, and then we work with the witch runes, then we can see that there's two different areas of study, but they still flow together and work together, even though they come from two different people's times and energies. They can still work together. And so then we can learn how to adapt that to our lives and working together with other people in our lives as well. So your overall Elder Futhark rune is the rune of Berkano or birch. See if that focuses for you. My camera does not want to look at the rune itself, naturally, but this is all about new beginnings, giving birth to something new, mothering, motherhood, life changes. But more than anything, it's about becoming. I did get a message for your energy in particular. It said, to become who we are meant to be, our truest self, we first must give birth to all the pieces we have been growing within. Birth hurts, but when it is complete, you have a new life to love, nurture, and guide into fullness. Now, I was actually being shown the equivalent of actually giving birth because I have that experience, but what it's like to grow a business or to grow a profession or to grow a hobby, to grow a passion project, it's very, very similar. You nurture it, you love it, you give to it what it needs, what it wants, what it's asking for. And then from there, you have to give birth to it. And the birthing process is one that is quite painful. So you have these challenges, you have these obstacles, and you wonder, am I actually going to have this come into being? And that's the energy that you're working with during Scorpio season, is this understanding that this is something that is about to come into being. Now, as we're working through Scorpio season, we are working in your 11th house. And this is about your hopes and your dreams and how you bring wealth from your hopes and dreams into your life, how you connect with others, connect with your community, groups, all of these things. This is where the primary energies are. So we have these 4 piles, 4 moon phases. We're going to start off with the partial solar eclipse in Scorpio, and that is going to be on October 25th. This is happening in your 11th house. And we have the Page of Swords with the romance rune. If you guys can hear, my cat is outside jingling the bell. So I'm going to finish going over these and then let her in. And then we are going to move on to October 31st and November 1st, which has a crossover moon phase for the first quarter moon in Aquarius, and that's during Samhain. And we have the 7 of Chalices and the Waves rune, and this is happening in your 2nd house. And then we are going and moving on to the 10 of Cups and the Harvest rune. And this is falling in your 5th house. And that is for the November 8th total lunar eclipse in Taurus. And we are focusing solely on the eclipse energies, not on the new and full moons, but the eclipse energies themselves. And then finally, for the last moon phase, we have on November 16th, and it's the 3rd quarter moon in Leo, which happens in your 8th house. We have the Crone of Fire and the Eye rune. And for this pile in particular, this is messages from your higher self about your spiritual progress. All right, so I'm going to pause it, clear the board, let my cat in, and then we'll move on. Okay, Capricorn, we are back and we are going to be talking about the October 25th partial solar eclipse in Scorpio. Now, I broke down each of the moon cycle phases this season based off of their higher and then reduced numerical or numerological energies. So this is a Temperance and Hierophant energy, a 14-5 day. And this is about alchemizing the past structures for a new beginning. Now, this particular partial solar eclipse is happening in your 11th house. And this is the house that is denoted for your career, because it is how you take your hopes and your dreams and your wishes and your goals and you turn it into a profitable avenue, a profitable business or a profitable anything within your life. It's how you take your dreams and turn it into an actual line of wealth. This partial solar eclipse in particular is beginning a new 56-year eclipse cycle. And this is called a Saros cycle, and it happens every 18 years in the sign of Scorpio. This first one is happening in the first decan or the first 10 degrees of Scorpio. So if you have any planets in that section of Scorpio, those planetary energies are utterly transforming within your life in whatever area and whatever way. So say, for instance, you have Venus in that your area of self-worth, self-value, love, art, beauty, fertility, abundance, creation, divine feminine energy, all of that is open for transformation during this moon phase if you so choose to engage in the energies. Now, this is all about transforming that lower level Scorpion energy of Scorpio. It's about healing the sting from the past in the realm of love of yourself that is viewed through the lens of the loss of love from the past. So it's about how you define your worthiness and your sense of love and sense of self based off of who has loved you in the past, how they have loved you, what they have told you. It's about the projections of others and breaking through those to see the true worth and true value of yourself by overcoming those stings. Now, during this phase, we have Mars out of bounds and Black Moon Lilith both out of bounds. Mars in Gemini and Black Moon Lilith in Cancer. And remember, Mars is moving up to that retrograde cycle that starts on October 30th. Mars out of bounds is making a harmonious trine with the Sun, the Moon, Mercury, and Mercury, which is in Libra. And Black Moon Lilith out of bounds in Cancer is making a harmonious trine with the Sun, the Moon, and Venus. Now, both of these planets have zero regard for astrological rules. They DGAF pretty much, like they don't give a fuck. They don't care what we say they are meant to be represented by in the sky. They know what their energy is, and they're here to teach us something different. They're here to say, you guys can say all of these rules, these astrological guidelines that you want to us, but we're not operating under those. So the only way that you're going to know how we're functioning is to actually engage in the energy. Let me teach you something is kind of the energy that they have right now. So with Mars out of bounds, making that harmonious trine with the Sun, the Moon, and Mercury, this is about creative solutions. Creative solutions coming through for us, whether it's mentally, emotionally, psychologically, psychically. I get this essence of like a lot of download energy, giving us creative solutions so we can bring our communications into a greater balance. It's to transform the way that we speak in the world, both within ourselves and through conflicts in our interpersonal relationships. Black Moon Lilith, on the other hand, with this harmonious trine with the Sun, the Moon, and Venus, who are all three in the sign of Scorpio, is all about breaking those subjugational patterns of how we love and nurture ourselves, how we mother ourselves, and giving back to ourselves, nurturing and mothering who we are and our hearts from all of the losses in our lives. Those moments where the people we were engaging in relationships and interpersonal relationships, no matter who and what role they fulfilled, how they weren't loyal to us. Those moments we weren't loyal to ourselves. And those moments where we felt abandoned by the universe even, and by others, to being trapped in the murkiness of the past. And we are being called forth now to love and nurture ourselves in an actual intent and purpose to free our hearts from these patterns and these beliefs and these pains from the past. Now, one of the biggest factors here is Pluto. Pluto is in your first house still. And like I said, during Libra season, you're the ones that are going to teach the world what it's like to have Pluto move through the first house. Because you're the ones who have experienced it for such a long duration of time that you're going to be able to be like, okay, so this is Pluto's energy. This is how Pluto's energy works. This is what Pluto was doing during this, and this. This is what's going on in my life, or what was going on in my life. Holy shit, this is how Pluto impacts someone when he moves through the first house, because it's literally like the judgment day of the self all the time. Pluto is at that last critical degree in Capricorn, that 26th degree of Capricorn. And that means that Pluto's energy is hyper amplified, hyper powerful in the skies, bearing down on us like, I keep saying pressure cooker, but I'm actually seeing the scene from Honey, I Shrunk the Kids with the magnifying glass and the sun coming through the magnifying glass. And it's like all of a sudden there's this kind of like laser from Pluto just hitting us. Laser. If you know that quote, I love you so much. And yes, that was from Austin Powers. We have a laser. Anyway, so we've got Pluto at that critical degree. Pluto is squaring off with the Sun, the Moon, Mercury, and Venus. So this is covering both Libra and Scorpio energy. So we are working with your 10th and 11th houses. This is a lot of energy to have to deal with. It's about finding the true purpose of transformation and healing in our lives is actually just being to heal the self. It's not to be seen outwardly as a success, but it's so that we can heal our lives, so that we can heal our souls, so we can move forward on our journey. This tension is going to be a pressure on our minds. It's going to open us up. If we surrender to it, open us up to turning the corner from this bullshit that we keep doing over and over and over again. And I don't mean that in any offensive tone, because I tell you guys what, Capricorn is in my 6th house, and Pluto moving through Capricorn has given me a 1-2 punch to my physical health. Time and time again, I have almost died multiple times since Pluto's transit. And so I am 100% surrendering myself to whatever Pluto asks of me at this point, because Pluto knows better than I do. And that's just the way that I'm operating here. So we are being asked to surrender whatever bullshit it is that we're still hanging on to. And Pluto is bearing down on us going, no, this needs to change. Listen to the song of your soul. Listen to the judgment call of your soul. This is something that needs to change. We're being asked to surrender to that. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Just surrender it and leap into it. For me personally, this has everything to do with that one last vice that I have of vaping. I am adamantly working on quitting, and I have made huge progress since I said, okay, whatever this is, I'm going to do it. It's Pluto. It's Pluto bearing down on me saying, you have to change this. It's time for you to change this. This is your last lesson of addictions and pains and vices and filling yourself with things that aren't right for you. This is Pluto's last lesson for me. So I'm surrendering to it, and let me be a beacon of example if you need one. It's also the tension to transform the past structures that we have held about our emotional bodies, so that we can come into a greater awareness of how we can ground ourselves, emotionally ground ourselves in this life, so that we don't negate our emotions, but we still give them the birth that they need. And being able to verbalize the things that we need on an emotional level in our lives. It's about taking the edge off of the words that we speak to ourselves and towards others, so that a new cycle of wholeness can really begin. And it's a wholeness of who we are within the world, a wholeness of ourselves, so that we know and embrace the mystery that is life as we know it. And knowing that it creates a balance in the world and the collective, for us to be like, I'm not incomplete. I'm not broken. I'm not unhealed. I am 100% whole, who I am, how I am. Now, for you guys in particular, we've got the Page of Swords and the Romance rune. And if you are unfamiliar, the Romance rune is actually Mars and Venus. Now, Venus is how we love ourselves. Mars is how we take that love of ourselves and we bring it into the outside world. So we show the world exactly what it is to love us, so that we get the amount of love that we give to ourselves, we get that in return from other people. And we have these equal and balanced, harmonious relationships. With the Page of Swords, this is about you being curious. It's about you getting into the nitty gritty of something that really lights you up. Now, some of you may be stepping away from a kind of way of being where you felt like there was no justice in the world. There was no balance. There was no harmony. That And when I say no justice in the world, I mean, like, some of you may have been lawyers and been like, I'm not going to be a lawyer anymore. Like, I'm getting that really strongly between the past. These are past, present, and future. Between the past with the Justice card and the Six of Swords, I'm getting this energy of like walking away from the legal system for a lot of you. It may not be necessarily that you were a lawyer, but you may have been working with something with the legal system or the justice system and just said, like, screw this. I'm done. Like, what I'm seeking will not be found here. And then we've got this Six of Pentacles, which is where you're being called to. So some of you may be, I feel this kind of like nervous anticipation and excitement because it seems like some of you may be going back to school. Or like getting your master's degree or learning something new. Some of you may be going into like some sort of spiritual field and like diving deep into new energies, new education. And this could be educating yourself in your own way. I know for me, I know a lot of psychological information. I know a lot of spiritual information, but I educate myself. I read a lot of books. I do a lot of channeling. I do a lot of journaling. I work with tarot and oracle cards literally all day, every day. Like there is never a point in time in which I do not have oracle or tarot cards near, on, in my hands, or somewhere like around me. I always have them. And I never feel like my journey with these things are ever over. So that might be an energy that some of you are learning how to embrace now, is actually what I'm getting. It's not necessarily that that's an energy that you're stepping into, but you're learning how to embrace it because you've always been in this energy. But you can sit there and go, well, when am I ever going to be done? You don't want to be done. You want to always be in this Page of Swords, Page of Wands energy, because the more that you're in those energies, the more exciting these things are. For me, I never know what to expect when I come to these readings. Never once. It's like being in beginner shoes all day, every day. And it's so exhilarating and so exciting and so fulfilling for me. It's the same as I feel when I am out writing. And I just saw 22 on the clock. So you might be seeing a lot of 2s and 6s. And maybe 11, just because we've got the 11 here. But for me, when I write and when I channel and when I do these things, I never know what to expect. Everything is always new. And that's something that you're learning how to bring back into your life with this Page of Swords and the Romance rune. And this is, again, in the area of your hopes, your dreams, your wishes, how to bring it into fruition, how to turn it into something financial. You may have been in that mainstream profession and now you're just like, I can't do it anymore. I'm actually hearing some of you may have been working in stocks and bonds or working at a bank and been like, I can't keep doing this. Like, it's just not fulfilling me. And it almost was like you were called this child for walking away. I'm seeing this just like so vividly. And you were called just like youthful and naive and childish. And even within your own interpersonal relationships, like, what are you doing? You had such a cushy job and you're like, yeah, but it's just not right for me. If this is you, please know that Spirit's like, yeah, you were 100% protected as you walked away from that. Go ahead and go do what you need to do because that's how you rebalance your energy. And I just heard rebalancing karma. So there may be some karmic rebalancing, karmic scales being rebalanced. And with Pluto, I want you guys to remember, with Pluto in your first house, especially at this hypercritical degree, Pluto's going to push on you until you live your dreams. It's going to feel like you can't do anything, be anything, go anywhere without something from your dreams just bombarding you over and over and over and over and over again until you literally get up out of the chair and walk away from what you're doing directly into being that student, being that newbie, being that, I don't know why newbie came through, but that's what I got. Being that energy because it's time for you to do something different. And this is 100% supported by the universe. So you're learning how to get curious and get your mind clear on what it is that you want and moving forward in the world. So this is the Samhain Oracle, and this is messages from your ancestors. And that came through so strongly with all of the piles and all of the energies The ancestors just like perked up and they're like, we want a voice. We want a voice. And I'm here for that because working with the ancestors is such a beautiful experience for me that I definitely want to help you guys bridge that gap together. So we're going to get the messages from the ancestors first, and then these are going to be additional messages for this moon phase and moving through these energies. So we have All Hallows Eve. I love that. That's actually the next moon phase coming up, but we have the card 1. So we have 1 and 11 and 66. So 6s, 1s, and 2s maybe very prevalent for you. Call upon the voices that stir your senses through the night. Cast an unforgiven howl as you stomp your might through the ground. This is literally talking about exactly what we just said about walking away, about being like, no, this is what's right for me. That wasn't right for me, but this is what's right for me. And I'm going to choose what is right for me because I'm going to choose me. First, foremost, and always. I'm going to choose what is right for me. And this is what Pluto is saying. Listen to those voices that really stir everything within you, that make you feel alive, that make you feel youthful, that make you feel excited, that make you feel. Because we are learning how to be emotionally grounded here. We are learning how to take all of those feelings and turn them into something very concrete. You guys have taken this huge spiritual lesson, moving forward out of a complete and utter mindset that's been holding you back, moving into something completely new, and really balancing it out in your physical life. This is what we have on a like logical level for what the cards are here. That's what you're doing. And you're Capricorn. You're innately designed to be emotionally grounded. And people forget that because they focus so much on that mountain goat portion and they forget about the sea goat portion. They forget that you are the sea goat. You forget that you're the sea goat. The sea goat has a tail. The sea goat can swim to the bottom of the ocean and climb to the top of the mountain. The sea goat knows exactly what the murky depths are, and they know the highest peaks. And that's what you can bring more into balance and share that with the world. But you have to let yourself balance all of your energies and literally walk away from this sense that somebody else has to do it or this is the way that life has to go. No, literally go do the thing that makes you feel alive because that's how you ground your most joyful emotions into your everyday life. So we've got well-being. See? Oh my gosh. You guys, I swear to you, I do not read these cards ahead of time. We have the card 18. Embrace your emotions. Allow your feelings to surface and be accepted. Look. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Like, I'm astounded. Oh, I love when this happens. Like, I am psychic. I'm feeling these things and I'm channeling these things. But man alive, when the cards support it, does it get me really excited. This is exactly it. This is exactly what I was just saying. You are the sea goat. So you are meant to know your emotions and get them grounded, get them emotionally grounded. You guys are setting the precedent. You're setting the tone for the entire world. And yeah, sure, I get it. That can feel like, oh, please don't say that, Monica. Like, I can't set the tone for the entire world. There are so many people who have a Capricorn rising. You're not doing this alone. You're all doing this together. This is a joint effort. This is a joint effort. Embrace your emotions because each and every one of you, the more that you embrace your emotions, the more that you really verbalize your emotional needs into this world, and then your physical well-being does nothing but continue to progress and advance and get better. There's such a beautiful energy here, and your ancestors are like, it's time for you to get wild. Like, embrace your wildness. Stop trying to be so grounded, so logical, so practical, so reasonable. What do you want to feel? Embrace what you want to feel and let yourself get excited. Let yourself play. Let yourself experience. Let yourself experiment and explore. This is such a huge energy here. So we have affirmations for positive change. See? Tell yourself you can change and then you will. And 27, which justice is coming. Look, You guys literally are just coming out of this justice, and you've got the Six of Swords and the Six of Pentacles, and six is all about balance. This is literally saying you don't have to do this. Just know that you can change and understand as you change, the karmic scales become rebalanced, and you have been worried about that for long enough. Put it in the hands of spirit, because spirit, your guides, your ancestors, they want to take this from you. Tell yourself, I want this in my life, and this is what I desire, and this is what I'm going to have. Embrace the emotionality of it. Let your emotions come up and accept that this is who you are. And it doesn't matter what the outside world says. Once you accept that this is who you are, and this is what you desire, and this is what your heart says, and this is what is right for you, do you know what happens? Your life changes. Your life completely and utterly changes. You change your life. So keep telling yourself that you're capable of making this change. Tell yourself that you can do this, that you can care for yourself, that you can love yourself, that you can get curious, you can get involved, you can bring this balance back, you can go back to school, you can do what you want to do, because that's what your heart is calling for you to do, and you have been ignoring it for far long enough, and now is your time to do it. Wow. Okay. This is about your new beginning. And you guys got the Burkano here, and it is literally about a new beginning. It's about life changes, becoming that person that you want to become. You have to embrace yourself completely and utterly, and your emotions are a big part of yourself, especially as a Capricorn. Emotions cannot be negated. Not any longer, not ever again, and I don't think that you would ever want to, really. So we've got 1s, 9s, 6s, and then we had 2s. So if any of those numbers mean anything to you guys, take those, 111, 222, 666, 999, anything like that, like any kind of derivative of those. Please take those and know that you are moving into the right area. You're following the path that is right for your soul. That's going to be your guides, your ancestors really coming through for you. All right, Capricorns, I'm going to pause it here. We are going to transition to the October 31st, November 1st, first quarter moon in Aquarius, falling in your second house. And then this is going to focus all about you, your self-worth, your self-value, and what is going on with that. And then we will move forward from there. All right, Capricorns, we are back, and we are now moving into Samhain, the October 31st, November 1st, first quarter moon in Aquarius. And this is happening in your second house. This is not just the house of inheritances and finances, but it is also the house of self-worth and self-value. This has been how I have worked with that second house so deeply, so strongly, so profoundly, and so often. It's always, to me, it's about, if we want our finances to be where we want it to be, we need to have our self-value to be where we want it to be, because the outside world is nothing but the reflection of our inside world. And I don't know who needed to hear that, but I felt that very strongly. Now, this first quarter moon is literally about the lessons of the soul. This is a moon phase where we can take the initiative to start healing the hope that we feel we have lost in our hearts, and the faith that we have in ourselves, that we will find our truest place within the world and within the collective. Now, because this is Samhain and in the Northern Hemisphere, or Beltane in the Southern Hemisphere, I talked about this in the intro video. This is a thinning of the veil, so that gateway to the spiritual realm is significantly more open. We're being called collectively to connect with our ancestors of the soul. Now, ancestors of the soul can be those souls that we had past lives with, that we have future lives with. It kind of runs the gamut. It's not necessarily bloodlines, but some of them are. But it's the people who came before us that we know of, or even that we don't know, but whose lessons we are repeating, or lessons that we are healing. It's about giving gratitude for the struggles that they went through, so that we had the opportunity to learn, to heal, and to heal ourselves and our ancestors and our descendants. Now, there was a reading that I did, and I say this so with like every sign, because I still can't remember. I think it was a pick a card that I did. I think it was a pick a card. And the message that came through was about ancestors and realizing that we are the ancestors. That someday someone is going to look back in their ancestry chart and they're going to find our names. They're going to say, "Oh my gosh, I was related to this person. This person did all of this." It's kind of like when I did my genealogy and did my chromosomal testing and my genome studies in my life. I found out I was related to Nikola Tesla, and I went, "That's so cool." Like I was floored that Nikola Tesla was in my family line. And it's stuff like that, because that's like, oh, that is in my life. That's in my family history, my lineage. Even if it's way, way, way back, it's still there. And that means that my soul still has resonance with it. And we're learning that we're setting the tone for what comes next. We're setting the tone for the generations to come, for the world that we want to build and see for ourselves. We're building that for not just ourselves, but for everyone. And we get this beautiful opportunity to heal these patterns and to move forward, to make that change. The choices that we make right now and the results of those choices or their consequences are being highlighted during this moon phase. And they're being highlighted through excessive tensions and triggers. Now, if you follow me, my other video, you know that the first quarter and the third quarter moons are bloody charts. They're very tense charts. There's a lot of red aspects, a lot of hard aspects. There's a lot of tension, a lot of triggering that happens during these moon phases. It's not to hurt us. It's not to make us feel weak. It's to give us greater clarity on the areas internally that we need to be more nurturing and empathetic with ourselves. Because when we do that, it really does diffuse that tension and the anger that results from these triggers. And it brings a deeper, more loving energy into ourselves, our family, and our physical and spiritual families. We really do. It literally is us choosing to embody the change that we wish to see in the world. Thank you, Gandhi. So this is about gifts and blessings of freedom that we can find in our lives through healing ourselves from the pains of the past. There's a book series that I read. It's called the Fever series. And it's written by Karen Marie Moning. It's like a fantasy paranormal sci-fi series, sci-fi romance series. And there's a character, Jericho Barons, who says, "Stay to the lights" in one of the books, actually in a couple of them. But this "stay to the lights" quote is about the fact that there is a dark fae called the shadow, and the shadow lives in, it's like this bubble. And if you don't stay to the lights and you walk into the darkness, the shadow can consume you. And it leaves you as like a dried up husk. Now, I know that sounds really awful, but the premise of this is for us to understand that we have a light within ourselves. And so if we stay true to the light within ourselves, our shadows don't ever consume us. We don't move from the shadows. So those tensions, those triggers, they don't have power over us because we actually see the parts within ourselves by shining that light that we have. We see the parts within ourselves that are just looking to find the light. And in doing so, we actually obliterate the opinion or the belief that the shadow is something bad. And we see that it's just a part of ourselves that is projecting outward something negative that we believe about ourselves, so that we can give ourselves that love, that empathy that we really truly desire and need. Now, the moon is coming into a parallel with Pluto. With this parallel, what we're learning here is that there is a calling of the soul that we are being called to hear. And when we come into the awareness that our souls are calling out to us, it brings us into a state of greater healing, because now we understand and we know that the darkness brings blessings. We know that magic is what we make of it in the world, and that our emotions are meant to be the blessings that are this experience in the journey that we call life. When we feel something so strongly, it shows us what matters to us. It's not just a pure emotional thing. Our souls literally came here so that we would experience emotion, so that our souls could understand the nature of all of the emotions of the human experience. We may not all feel them. I know I do. It's been something that I thought was a hindrance for me until I saw it as a blessing. Now we know that when we feel everything, we actually engage more with life and we engage more with this experience, and then we get more out of it, more lessons, more learning. We are learning how to balance the truth of the self through knowing our light within and bringing that forth into the world and giving gratitude, like deep gratitude for the people who came before. Now, the energy that you're working in is the waves and the 7 of chalices. And again, I get this energy because you've got the King of Swords here, and then you move into the 8 of chalices. With all of this energy, I'm seeing the exact same energy. I'm feeling the same energy. I'm seeing it in the cards that had to do with the prior moon phase. This is an overall energy of a new beginning, a new birth, a new cycle, a new wave of your life coming in and washing ashore. This 7 of chalices to me does not have the same energy as other 7 of cups cards. To me, this is saying it's time for you to get imaginative about what you can be, because you've been in this logical state for so long. And now you may feel very overwhelmed with everything that is at your fingertips. But this 8 of chalices and the 7 of chalices is showing me that you have so many options of what you can do moving forward. And again, I get this energy that you want to do something different. It's like breaking out of corporate America all of a sudden. And I may be hitting the mark with some of you, but that's literally the energy I get. It's like you're saying, screw the way that the structures have been. I'm going to choose what is right for me. And now you're seeing that once you decide that, now all the options of what you can do and be has now suddenly been presented to you. Don't overwhelm yourself with all of these studies. You literally have more spiritual help than you think you do. And they're trying to bring in, I don't know if it's a pen or a wand or just something to help get you grounded and centered. And then I see this Knave of Pentacles. And the Knave is, again, the Page of Pentacles energy. So you're moving from a King of Swords into the Knave of Pentacles. You're starting something new, some new business venture, some new project, whatever it is, you're starting it new. And this is saying that if you really ground yourself, if you really allow yourself to step away from everything and just get focused, this is what you're going to do. Some of you may want to start a blog. You may be wanting to start a website. You may want to do some sort of like contracted work online. I'm seeing like somebody doing copywriting or things of that nature, just so that you have a chance to just be more a part of the physical world. And I don't mean the physical world like the 9-to-5 jobs or I mean like Mother Nature. Like you want something where you can just engage with the world outside your window by being outside your window instead of being behind your window, if that makes sense. And with this waves and the 7 of chalices, instead of the waves being like chaos and mayhem, what I'm actually getting from it is like you're on a new path, a new journey of possibility. Your wave has arrived. It's like the 3 of Wands is in my head in traditional Rider-Waite tarot, that you're waiting for your wave to come ashore. Your wave has come ashore. So let's see what your ancestors have to say. We have Altar 2. You guys are literally just like progressing straight through these cards. It's beautiful. A sacred devotion, worship skin deep rising from the ash, the waters you keep. See, your wave is in. Your emotional body is like brand new in this energy. The way that I'm feeling. This altar talks about what you're devoted to. What do you worship? Do you like... It's like, what is it in your life that has that purpose, that has that meaning, that has that power over you? What are you devoted to? Are you devoted to yourself or are you devoted to something else? What does your heart tell you? When your heart tells you, then you will be true. And I get that energy that you're finally getting that. It's like this breakthrough moment that, oh, my heart has always known what is right for me. And this isn't a negative thing. I feel like I need to let you know, like, you're exactly where you're meant to be, exactly when you're meant to be there. This is all I'm hearing going according to plan. And you may not have made the plan in your conscious mind, but your soul's plan is going exactly as it's meant to. Keep going down this path. It may feel scary because I'm getting this almost like fool energy here. So it may feel a bit scary, but know that this path is what you're meant to do. So let's get these messages. We have travel and 26, new love. Embrace an opportunity for love in your work prospects or for spiritual growth. See? This, oh my gosh, the cards are just so supportive. I love it. There's so much, guys, when the cards are this supportive, when the cards don't like contradict any of the energies or they don't come into contradiction, it is saying that your energy is exactly aligned. It's exactly perfect. You're not contradicting yourself. You're literally like, I am ready to move into the future. I am ready for this new growth. I am ready for this new avenue of something that I just absolutely love. And all of the cards are supporting it. All of them. They're saying you can be what you want to be. Devote yourself to what your heart tells you to devote yourself to, because that's your path. That's your way forward. And this travel card, it's literally, I mean, you can see she looks pregnant in this. It's literally that concept of birth. And some of you may be pregnant, but that's not a huge energy I'm getting. I'm actually getting that whole birth hurts and it takes time. You're learning this. It's like you're birthing a whole new career, a whole new job, a whole new way of being in which your work life and your home life are blended together. It's like an entrepreneurial energy, but not quite. I can't explain it. I can't explain it, but I have the feeling that you know exactly what I mean, because it's not something that necessarily has a word or an explanation to it, because it's something that you are birthing. And when you birth something into existence, you're birthing something brand new, something that hasn't been seen before. That's what you're meant to do. This is what is called for you to do, no one else. So I can sit here and confirm this for you, but you're the one that's doing it. So then we've got change and progress. See, and literally like affirmations for positive change. Now you have change and progress. You're literally doing the work. You're doing the work. And this is saying you're making progress. And it seems like she's focusing right here on this Knave of Pentacles. It's like the Knave of Pentacles is literally the falling star caught in the hand. You know what you're aiming at, so keep moving forward. And then we have 22, library, take control of your own narrative. That's what you did. And with the library and all of this, it's literally like you realize that there are so many options. You chose the option that was right for you. You chose that to be your own puppet master. You chose what was right for you. All of this, what I'm picking up is that you literally found the light within your heart, because that's what she's got here. A light within her heart. It's like a shooting star that comes directly from your heart out into the world. You figured this out. And now that you have decided that you're going to take control of the narrative, and some of you maybe want to be authors, please go do that. Do that. Write that book. Please do. But what I'm seeing here is you took this blessing that you figured out from the heavens, from whatever it was. You took the blessing and you decided, I'm going to do this. I'm going to progress forward. And no one and nothing is going to stop you or stand in your way. And that's the nature of taking control of your own narrative. You decided, this is what I want to speak. This is what I want to do. And that's your narrative. Your narrative is one in which you are the one with all the control, with all the power, with all of the awareness and the insight. You're not presenting to anyone else to judge or determine for you. You are becoming the boss of your life. Not just work life, but your life. And this is bringing your work prospects, your home life, and spiritual life all into one, into this harmony, into this union. And that's a very, very beautiful thing. You are literally progressing forward through all the changes that you've made because you're listening, you're learning, and you're moving forward. And that's an amazing, amazing energy. And again, we've got 22 here. So, and another 8 and a 2 and an 8. Like 8s, 2s, 6s. We've got such strong energy, strong repetitive numbers. This is literally telling you you're on the right path. You've got this. Keep going. All right, let's move on to the full moon and total lunar eclipse in Taurus on November 8th, which is happening in your 5th house. All right, Capricorns, we are back and we are now focusing on the November 8th full moon total lunar eclipse in Taurus. Now, this is a liminal or a middle place of transformational changes. These are changes that started back in 2004 in our lives, whether we were aware of them or not. They have been ongoing and they will continue to ongo. And see, whenever my camera does that, I take that as a confirmation if my hands aren't moving and we're not moving any of the cards. That's literally just spirit confirming. These have been going on whether we are aware of them or not. So during this transition and transformation phase, we do have Mars out of bounds and Black Moon Lilith out of bounds still, and they are making a parallel. So this is literally no holds barred. Everything is off the table. Every structure and belief and traditional, any kind of interpretation of these, they're gone. This is giving us an opportunity to transform the perception that we have of divine masculine out of that toxic divine masculine, out of that belief of the abandoning father, out of that belief that spirit abandons us, that spirit is ever not with us. And it also helps us transform this belief that our divine feminine is silenceable, that we can ever be silenced in this journey, and giving way to a rebirth through changing the inner fears that whisper lies in our minds, in our ears. It's about transforming this. This is about eclipsing the hardship mentality surrounding creation and creating from the heart and soul to give way to a new illumination of just how fertile being soft is and the luxury of personal growth in our lives that brings forth more beauty, not just into the world as a whole, but into our world. The message that I got is the missing piece of all creation is the heart. The true nature is that the heart is the beauty of all creation. We can redeem our lives through the awareness that the painful stings of the past has now made us immune to the poison of those moments. And once we recognize our truest strength in getting back up and sharing our heart's creativity, we can't be hit with that same thing ever again. It's about the beauty of living as a conduit of energy and healing and creation between the heavens and the earth. And this moon phase is helping us mediate the inner tension we may be feeling between our divine masculine and divine feminine through the purity and innocence of the love of the inner child. Now, like I said, I've been breaking everything down into their numerological days. This is a 16 and 7 day. This is about the Tower and the Chariot. This is about Mars and Cancer, and Mars and Cancer is said to be in fall, but this is about the rising of a strong Mars and Cancer energy. And I have Mars and Cancer in my natal chart, so I do know how much of a hindrance that can be, but I know what it's like when you really harness this power in the right way. It's about having the awareness that there is true power in an emotionally aware divine masculine energy. And knowing that that emotionally aware divine masculine energy is nothing more or less than a harbinger of peace. Now, the sun, the moon, Mercury, Venus, and Uranus are all squaring off with Saturn in Aquarius. And this is squaring off in your 2nd house. And we just came from there. It's time to learn the lessons of change and evolution. This is the message that came through. The karmic blessings of the individual from the collective past through willingly modernizing and no longer holding on to power out of fear. Now we look to Saturn, Uranus, and Jupiter for these lessons because these are the fathers and sons that are teaching us the lessons in the cosmos right now. Even Mars is teaching us the lessons in the cosmos because Mars is the grandson of Saturn. It's about learning how our forefathers made choices that reflect the same choices that their fathers made before them. And this is just archetypally. This can be on a mother line too. It's just archetypally these lessons that were continuing to occur, where, you know, if you look to the archetypes of the planets, Uranus is Auranos. It's the origin point of the gods and the titans. Gave birth to Saturn, and through being ashamed of some of his creations and relegating them into the center of the earth, truly broke his wife's heart, broke Rhea's heart or Gaia's heart, depending on which mythology you're reading. And so it was through that pain, that sting of the pain, that Uranus was overthrown by Saturn. Now, Saturn received a prophecy that this was going to happen to him, so he became fearful that he was going to have to endure the exact same thing. And we can learn from this lesson what it's like to teach the next generation. This is, again, it goes back to that message from the ancestors, that we are the ancestors. And what we do for the next generation matters. And we can look to the planets and their archetypes to learn that. What we do matters. Now, this is in your 5th house. This is romance, love, self-expression. This is how you express yourself in love, but how your inner child comes out to play as well. And what I'm seeing here with your energy for this time frame is literally the 10 of Cups and the Harvest. This is about you really coming into this beautiful blessing of taking romance and transforming it into something more. Now, for a lot of you, you came out of this judgment energy. And remember, I talked about hearing the calling. This is Pluto's energy. Pluto in your 1st house. Pluto's energy. You heard the call. And the Chariot, again, remember, this is a Tower and Chariot day. That's that strong Mars and Cancer energy. You came into this emotional awareness of what was right for you. And you're now learning how to balance the choices that you're making and the new life that you're building with the love that you have in your life. And you're in this energy that your relationships and your connections are truly in a happy state. And that's a really beautiful energy for you to be in, because it takes such strength to hear that calling and to be like, okay, where is this calling taking me? Because you've got the Chariot and it's this way or that way. So you're sitting there and you're like, okay, I have to choose a direction. What direction am I going to choose? What I'm seeing here is you're choosing the direction of your heart. You're choosing the direction of your soul. You're choosing the direction that is your ultimate happiness. To me, the 10 of Cups is always the ultimate happiness card. We can look to the 10 of Pentacles and be like, that would be great. Sure. But you want that emotional fulfillment that you find with the 10 of Cups. To me, that's what you want. And when you pair it with the Harvest rune, to me, that's saying you have the 10 of Pentacles and the 10 of Cups right here. This is the energy that you're in this total lunar eclipse. So the changes that you've been making since 2004, you're really finding that success finally. You're finding that balance between the physical world and the spiritual world, between your working life and your family life, because of the choices that you have made, those decisions to choose a new direction, to choose a new path, whatever the path is that's right for you. The choice that you made is literally bringing you everything that you desire. And that's a powerful statement for me to make. But I'm channeling right now, so I don't have control over the statements that I'm making. So let's see here. And again, we've got 2 and 2 and a 7 here. And 1s, 1, 2s, and 7s. Again, we have voices, 42, another 6. With a tug at the gut, feel them romance your very breath. Listen to the gentle flickering within your eyes, for this is where they guide. You've been listening to your guides and your ancestors because they've been literally pulling you to where true romance and true love and true happiness really are. They've been showing you your inner light. This is what I'm getting from your ancestors with this card. They've been showing you your inner light. They've been showing you the truth of who you are, the truth of what your heart has been calling for, and you're listening to it. It's like you have tapped so far into your intuition that there's not a single person in the world that could ever lead you astray anymore, because you absolutely 100% know your path, know your destiny, know your future, know your heart, and no one can dissuade you from that. And that's a powerful place to be in this world. We live in a world filled with propaganda. Like this whole world is filled with nothing but propaganda, but you have come into this essence of, I don't hear it because all I can hear is the beating of my heart. All I can see is the flickering of the path that is lit in front of me that I know is right for me. That pull that I feel from my solar plexus to my heart chakra, that pull that I feel that is so absolutely right. So it does not matter what storms may come in, what storms may blow through. I know the sound of my soul and I know how to follow that. I will never ever be someone who will question it again. I will never be discounted. I will never be, there's so many words, but the one that I want to say, I can't. Spirit, can I please get some help with this? I will never be led astray. I will never be doubtful. Thank you, Spirit. I will never be doubtful of myself and my heart again. No one can teach that. You just learn it. You can't be taught how to not doubt. You have to learn it from inside. I can't teach you how to not doubt. Only you can. Only you can step into a state of trust. You will never not trust yourself anymore because you know the voice of your own heart and your own soul. And your ancestors have been all around you this whole time teaching you. They are your greatest teachers right now. They are your greatest teachers right now, and they are with you every step of the way. Even if there is discord, they are with you every step of the way because they need and want you to have your happy ever after, your joy, your balance, your harmony, your blessings, because you getting those heals them. You getting those sets a new future, a new path, a new birth, a new beginning of your entire family line, your entire soul family line becoming what they're meant to become. You have this power within you and you know that. And I get this feeling that this only serves to empower you more because you already know this. And so you're harnessing this. And that's such a beautiful energy. And I just want to say thank you because touching this energy, I am humbled. I am honored. This is amazing. So thank you so much. Let's get the messages here. We have strength. Yes. And I love these baby lions. And every time I look at this card, I get something new, but we are working with the full moon. This is literally like you tapping into a strength of innocence, of naivety, of that inner child. You have learned to harness the strength of your inner child in this. I keep looking over here to the family and there's 2 children over there. And it's such a beautiful energy. And then we have 50. Consider your foundation. Look at how committed you are to love. That's what it is. Like I said before with the altar, what are you devoted to? You devoted yourself to your heart. You devoted yourself to this path. Because you devoted yourself to this, when you choose unconditional love, when you make that choice, when you devote yourself to a path of unconditional love, when that is the only thing that you choose to hear, there is a strength in that the world doesn't know, the world doesn't understand yet. And it's scary. It's terrifying because it makes you go straight down to the foundation, straight down to your root chakra and say, I need to infuse this part of myself with nothing but love. And that's scary. It's terrifying. It is. I'm telling you, I know this. I've done this. When you say, I understand that I believe in this, this is what I'm devoted to. I have devoted myself to a life of love, a life of unconditional love, which means that I am going to do what I love, be who I love, and attract only that into my life. I attract only unconditional love. Then you have to be in a state of trust so pure that no doubt can ever sink in. And what I'm seeing here is it's like you tempered your doubts and your fears into these baby animals that are just so docile now that you hold those pieces of yourself so lovingly and so dear to yourself because you understand that those were the pieces that gave you your strength. They may have been huge roaring lions in your face, at one point, but you have now tamed them, tempered them, and turned them into your loves, your babies, your pets. It's giving birth to a new level of understanding about fears and doubts and worries and stress, so that you can see that strength really comes from being gentle. It comes from being loving. It comes from the innocence and the purity that comes from within. And that's the nature of unconditional love. And you're doing that. You're literally hearing it in everything and building your entire life based off of that, because you literally went straight down to your roots and built it. And that's so amazing. It's so incredible. You are incredible. This is incredible. Thank you. Gosh, thank you so much for what you do for the collective, just by being you and doing everything that you do for yourself. This is amazing. We have connect with Gaia. And look, again, we've got the roots. Like, you literally rooted it. Remember when I said you wanted something where you didn't have to look out the window to see Mother Nature, but you could be in Mother Nature so that you're not behind the window? You're learning to do this. And the more that you do this, the more firm you get in this energy, this awareness, this power that you have within you. And then we have 38, villain. You can always rewrite the story. You stop beating up on yourself. Look at all of these moons that look like eclipses. All of these moons look like eclipses. You stop beating yourself up. You stop telling the story of who did you wrong and how this was and how you responded and how bad you could be and whether you were a villain and whether you were a victim. You just stopped it. This is, again, right back to that creating your own narrative. You are really making just genuine forward progress in all areas of your life. Capricorn, this is incredible. And I know, I get it. Like, you're Saturn dominated because you're a Capricorn, but shit, that doesn't mean anything. It really, like, to me, that doesn't mean anything, because you don't have to cave to that energy. You don't have to pander to that energy. Yeah, it's going to come back to bite you in some ways, and I'll believe that forever, but it doesn't mean that you have to live that way, but you chose to live the way that is true to you, to see that you have the power to write the story that you want to write for your life. And because you're doing that, you're stepping into a state of such beautiful, unconditional love, because you've tempered what you contain within. You've tempered the shadows. You're not the bad guy. It's kind of that Saturn energy. So many people see Saturn as the bad guy, the bad planet. He does this and he does that. Saturn doesn't do anything. Saturn just shows us the truth of our own actions and our own reactions. Nothing more and nothing less. He makes us take ownership. And I feel like you guys finally, like, not even finally, it's like you just stepped fully into this being your truth. As hard as it was, you stepped fully into this being your truth. And now you have connected with the earth, and you've chosen to allow something more to open within you. It's like you've chosen to allow yourself to see how even the darkest moments have been, those moments have been the ones where we have learned the most, grown the most, and advanced the most. I'm actually seeing somebody who goes and looks at, like, Adolf Hitler and learns such huge lessons from Adolf Hitler. And that can seem scary, or we can be like, yeah, but you just don't do what he did. Well, I get that. I understand that. But it's more than that. It's more than that. Like, you have empathy in a way that people don't normally have empathy. But you learned how to not be from these things. And that's a beautiful thing. And I'm looking at this villain card, and I'm not getting that you think that you're the villain, but you have just decided that you're not going to have a villain in your story. And once you decide you don't have a villain in your story, then anybody trying to do you dirty, and I don't know where this is coming from, but I want you guys to roll with me. Anybody who's trying to do you dirty can't get to you anymore, because they're not your villain. And once you take that away from them, then there's nothing that they can do to you or for you or with you. it's like withdrawing your energy entirely. Once you rewrite that story, their energy is out of your life. And somehow, something in your life, you just suddenly learn that. I'm sorry, I'm getting the image of Gandalf in the first Lord of the Rings in the Fellowship of the Rings, and he's like, "You shall not pass." And then yeah, that's literally what I'm getting here. Like, you literally did that with somebody or something in your life, and you're like, no, this is like, you're not going to be the villain in this story anymore. There is no villain in my story anymore. There is nothing but unconditional love in my life and in my story. So if you can come at me with unconditional love, that's great. If not, my guides will handle you. And I don't need to worry about it. My ancestors will handle you. I don't need to worry about it. What I need to worry about is connecting to my roots, is fueling and filling my life and my world with love. That's all I care about. That's all I'm going to do. And Capricorns, that's an amazing thing. Please keep doing that, because you set a tone and a precedent for the rest of the world. All right, I'm going to pause it here. We're going to move into the final moon phase, November 16th, and the third quarter moon in Leo, and that is in your 8th house. This is your spiritual rebirth area. All right, Capricorns. And I got to tell you guys, I paused it at 1:11. So this is again, like, and I just saw 1:11:11. So this is again that energy of rebirth. I said spiritual rebirth. This is the third quarter moon in Leo. We are in your 8th house. The 8th house is that mystery, the occult, the deep, dark depths. This is a devil and lovers kind of energy today. This is about breaking those chains, getting yourself free, freeing your masculine and your feminine energies, and really stepping into the power of who you are. Venus is coming to the 0 degree in Sagittarius. So Venus has just entered into Sagittarius. This puts Venus at a critical degree, just like Pluto has been at the critical degree. And with Venus at that critical degree in Sagittarius, and Sagittarius being your 12th house, this is about a deep, deep understanding and awareness of personal love, self-love, and love in all facets of your life, and taking aim for the future in a state of love. Now, Capricorns, your energy is nothing but love. It's such a beautiful energy. I know I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again. Thank you. Thank you for this energy. Thank you for what you're doing, because this is amazing. So we have the Sun and Mercury in Scorpio and Venus in Sagittarius squaring off with the moon. Now, all quarter moons come with attention. And we've talked about this a little bit earlier, but the reason why they come with attention is because they're the moment the sun and the moon come to a square aspect, or a 90-degree right angle aspect. And whatever planets are traveling with or transiting near these two planets, the sun and the moon, become energetically involved. It's like kids out on a playground. When two kids are bickering out on the playground, they run off to their own subsequent groups of friends, and now their subsequent groups of friends are involved. You can't avoid it, but that's kind of what happens. Now, this heightens the energy and the tension between our most personal of planets in our lives. It heightens the tensions between the sun and the moon. And with the sun and Mercury and Venus all squaring off with the moon, we have to think about where we're being called to look. Now, the right angle, or the right side of the body, right, is associated with a divine masculine. This means that we're called to use the energies of the sun and the moon, the divine masculine and the divine feminine, in order to lessen the tension on our divine masculine. And we're lessening the tension through action or receptivity of the divine feminine energies. Oh, excuse me, I had to yawn. Now, the sun and the moon are both coming into aspects with Mars retrograded in Gemini. And this is teaching us how to be flexible in our own view of the love and ways of speaking with the divine. And especially for you, because we've got Venus in the mix, we're learning how to really talk to spirit, how to really open our hearts to spirit. And you're teaching others how to do that just by being you, just by by embracing it and showing the world what it's like to talk to spirit for you. There's this emotional ease that's coming through this moon phase for all of us. And it gives us sorry guys, I suddenly have the yawns, and I know that that's energy moving through. But we have this emotional ease in a flow state so that we can find creative solutions in our lives, in ourselves, in our emotions, in our awareness, in the ways that we shine out into the world, in the ways that we speak with the divine, in the way that we interpret the conversation with the divine, and integrate changes and embody the duality of being a shapeshifter. Now, the energy of being a shapeshifter is not about deception and deceit. It's about becoming all we're meant to be. It's about knowing that we are multifaceted and that's who we're meant to be. It's like being two people in one or three people in one. We know that we contain all of these pieces within ourselves, so we're going to embrace all of it. There's also an energy and a message that came through about excising shame through guarding the inner creative fields for true change to blossom within. And for some reason with your pile, with this particular moon phase, I want to yawn a lot. Some of you may be feeling more tired than normal. If that's the case, let yourself rest. When you go through changes and transformations to the magnitude in which you are doing it, your body needs rest. Give yourself the rest you need. Please, please, please. No matter how much you're like, no, I have to do this, I have to do that. Remember that you're a Capricorn and that's your Capricorn energy. It's very stubborn, but let yourself rest. This is about learning how to forgive the struggles and tensions of all the prior hierarchical structures through making a conscious decision to change the views of these structures that keep us feeling as though there is gatekeeping going on to a healthy, loving, and welcome equality within the world from within first for a new world and reality to be created. Oh my gosh, I was not yawning and I'm not tired. It's just all of a sudden with this energy right here. So you're moving into this, and this is all about your higher self coming down and letting you know. You've got the Crown of Fire. Now the Crown of Fire, the Queen of Fire, or the King of Fire is literally blowing out the candle. When we look at this, it's literally being like, I can plunge myself into the depths of the darkness. It doesn't matter because I know that I glow from within. I know I have a light from within. You're actually learning how to see the truest essence of the light that you carry within yourself so that you don't feel any kind of fear moving into the world. Now, in the past, you were working through a 5 of air energy. This particular 5 of air talks about palmistry. So you may have had your palms read, or you may be studying palmistry. That may be something that is very prominent. If not, and you have felt called to it, this is your confirmation to do that because it is something that you're innately good at. It's like a natural gift, a natural talent. And you may be able to actually like look at someone's palm or touch someone's hand and tell them about themselves. It's a type of energy reading without actually being anything based off of the palms itself. It's just that you can feel into what their palms are saying. It's almost like their palms are a map. And you're able to follow a path and a map on their palms, but it's not traditional palmistry. That's very interesting. Now, that's what you were learning or coming into an awareness of. And some of you are still learning this, but now you're moving into this 1 of water or ace of water. And this talks about Venus and Mars. It talks about the divine masculine and the divine feminine. It talks about bringing together these harmonious aspects of the self. And then we have the 4 of fire, and that is Mars energy. There's so much Mars energy here. So this is literally teaching you right here and now all about your energies. This is showing you what your energies really are like. This is teaching you how to take action moving forward based off of your destiny, your path, what is right for you. Wow, let's find out what your ancestors have to say. We have elders, 15, birthed from seed within the belly of the moon. They are the wise felt touches over our hearts and felt deep within the marrow of our spirits. You guys are adapting and growing. But look, there's a palm here and there's an eye on it. There's something with your hands. but it's something that you do with your hands, whether you do palmistry work or someone read your palm and told you something that literally irrevocably changed your life. Whatever it was, it's like your ancestors are letting you know that you're now it's like, oh, okay. Can you help me explain this? I'm getting all these images of like an initiation, like an old school shamanic fire initiation. You may have had a dream about it. That may be why I'm yawning so much. You may have had a dream about some sort of like fire ceremony. And with this fire ceremony, what I'm seeing is you were crowned an elder. And your higher self and your ancestors are letting you know, if you've seen this or this resonates with you, know that this wasn't an accident. It wasn't just a dream. It wasn't a past life memory. That actually happened. On a soul level, that actually happened. It's like your soul just elevated. That would be why I said your spiritual rebirth, because your soul elevated. You gave birth to a new elevation, a new level of your soul in this incarnation. I don't think that you knew this was part of your path. That is what I'm getting from this Five of Air. I don't think your soul knew this was part of your path, because whatever you did in your life, you did something more than what your soul contract said you were going to do. And you actually elevated yourself out of your prior soul contract and had to recontract. Whoa. I have never heard of this before, but this is so cool. I'm seeing so many images. It's like there's an amphitheater filled with a bunch of spirit guides, and they were watching you almost like watching the Hunger Games on that big screen TV, just watching it happen. And they're like, holy crap, they did it. You know, at the end of the Hunger Games where Katniss is like, you know what? Screw the Capitol. Let's kill ourselves. You eat the berries, I'll eat the berries. We're both going to eat the berries together, because it's either both of us or neither of us. And she knew that they loved both of them so much that they would not allow that. And so because of that, she cheated the system and changed the game. Something you did was very similar to that. You're like, nope, I'm going to eat these berries, or you're going to change the game. And the game got changed. Wow, what did you do, Capricorn? Whew. Don't tell me. Don't tell me, because I have the feeling that it's not something that can be explained anyway. You changed your fate. You changed your destiny. You changed your path. You elevated your soul. You have been initiated as an elder into this life. It's like you are now a walking spirit guide, and you shine that forth, and the world knows it. Or they will. They will know it. But you have become the elder to the ancestors. That doesn't, I don't know. My logical mind can't make sense of that. Wow. Something that you did, it had something to do with war, something to do with peace, bringing peace in. You chose a different path. You chose a path that is leading you into this Mars energy, but this emotionally aware Mars energy, like we talked about. You chose the path of healing. Wow. Okay. We've got career. That's what you did. You walked away from what you were doing before, and it's like your soul didn't know that you were going to do it, because you were on a path that was actually what your soul contracted to do, but you came into contact with something else and you were like, no, that feels better. That whole opening yourself up to love thing that we've been talking about this pretty much whole time, that's what you did. You made love your career. It's not that you chose to love your career. You made love your career. And that changed things for your entire family line. Wow. Wow. I'm so excited for you guys. Oh my gosh. Whew. 44, get to know each other. Learn to meet another's need for love. You see, love. That's what you did. And we've got 44 and 4 again. It's love. You guys changed something because you embraced love. You got to know love. You got to know yourself. You got to know your energies, and you made it a career, something into a career, whether that's a career with a partner, because I'm getting this, get to know each other and learn to meet another's need for love. Oh my gosh, it's like you learned to love yourself, and then you took that love and you just exuded it outward into the rest of the world and just showed the world, like, look at what it means to be loved. Let me show you how to be loved while being fully loving for yourself. That's such a beautiful thing. Like that concept, people miss that concept so often. And Capricorn, you're doing that. That's so incredible. Oh my gosh, it's so profound. It's so profound. Okay. We have joy and delight. See? 40, morning, the world awaits you. Another 4. You guys just completely radically transformed your entire life. Everything. In like the most beautiful way. And now you get to bring this out into the world. I love that she's underwater and her window is open. And I know that she's a mermaid, but it doesn't look like she's a mermaid. It's literally like you learned how to just exude love. You know how some people are like, oh, they're just like the happiest person ever. Like everywhere they go, they're just the happiest person ever. You're literally like a freedom fighter for love, a freedom fighter for the heart. And it like literally you shifted your whole life into something that just brings you nothing but happiness. And you don't care what else happens. You literally radically transformed not just your life, but the entire world in just one choice that you made. You changed the world, Capricorn. I'm amazed. I literally have chills all throughout my body. Like I want to hug you guys. Again, thank you. Thank you for what you do. This is amazing. Wow. Okay, let's clear this off. Whew. I want to hug you guys. Thank you. Yeah, I think my stones before when I'm done using them, I thank them before I put them back, and then I cleanse them in between readings. So we're just going to get some closing messages here. All right, let's shuffle up the cards a little bit. I have shuffled them before, but I have this thing about like excessive shuffling. So we're just going to get some closing messages, and I actually am going to set an intention with these specific closing messages about moving forward from here, because we just traveled pretty far into the future with the Scorpio stuff. And I know that you're going to be doing this stuff. Like I can just see it. It's like it's already written. But let's find out what Spirit wants you to know. So we've got fortune cookie and fortuitous. Yeah, it's okay to trust this. That's what I'm hearing. It's okay to trust this. Runes and perception. Okay. It's okay to trust what you perceive and what you believe. It's okay for you to trust this new birth. And especially with the runes and perception, we've got the Berkano and the Berkano here. This is literally like Spirit's going, it's okay to see this perception and to take this direction. Yeah. And then on the back, we've got spells and alchemy. Because what you're doing, this choice that you're making where I'm being brought back to that corporate America and walking away from it. That's a scary thing to do, especially when you have a specific type of lifestyle. That's a scary thing to do, to walk away from that kind of lifestyle. And this may just be a metaphorical thing. For some reason, these Halloween tarot cards are calling. This may just be like, that's a metaphorical thing. Like you may not work in corporate America. Some of you I know do, because I can just feel that energy and see it too clearly. And I don't know what corporate America looks like. So I'm just being shown. Yeah, we've got the 6 of bats, which is the 6 of swords, temperance, and then the 8 of pumpkins. And I've got one more down here. The 3 of imps. The Three of Wands. My God, you guys, I said I saw that. And the Nine of Bats. Okay. I get it now. Okay. So there's a little bit of hesitancy here. I want you to remember that walking away is based off of your perception. What you perceive to be walking away doesn't necessarily mean walking away in the way that you think it is. But for those of you walking away from a specific type of lifestyle that has literally built everything that you thought that you dreamed of, and then you figured out that you weren't happy, it's about the perception. And when you change your perception, you bring yourself into a state of your own power and knowing that you can literally make anything that you wish to make in your world. We've got the Queen of Ghosts here too. Did I have another one that was flipped? Wow, the Queen of Imps and the Queen of Ghosts. That's the Queen of Wands and the Queen of Cups. So this is about your divine feminine feeling just a little bit hesitant, but don't worry. When you move forward from today, think about the different perspectives that you've had about your life. We've got the 4 bats on the back. So give yourself some time, give yourself some reflection time. Don't make any moves that feel like I'm pushing you somewhere. This is about you learning to do your own kind of spells, your own kind of alchemy. When I talk about spell work, when I talked about magic is what we make of it, and we think about spells, we think about the things that we speak. We speak things into existence. It's like this fortune cookies. It says you will receive some high prize or award. Your happiness is intertwined with your outlook on life, and you will soon be honored by someone you respect. Your hard work will soon pay off. These are all spells. These are all spells. The words that we speak are powerful. They carry their own energy, their own magic. And when you choose to have a very fortuitous or fortune, like just benefiting everything and everyone perception. So you choose to see that this is going to be your life changing. This is going to be you becoming your best self. You're going to take the direction that you perceive to be the best for you, for your heart, for your path. You are weaving spells that are alchemizing this old way of being. And sometimes that hurts. Sometimes that's scary. Sometimes that gets into your head and is like, I can't do this. Spirit is letting you know, and your guides and your ancestors, especially your ancestors, are letting you know that you now have seen the fortuitous future. The direction that you want to take, you have seen it played out now. So trust in your own power, trust in your own magic, trust in your own path and your own heart, because you have this power within you that is ready to come out. And you've been afraid of allowing that to come out, but now is the time to let it do so. You can't hide this part of you away anymore. And you've felt that for so long that you don't even remember how to try to hide it away. Follow in the footprints that have been laid out in front of you by your higher self, because the footprints that have been laid out by you, by your higher self, are the only ones you can follow, because you're the one setting a new direction. You're the one setting new footprints down. No one else is going to be able to follow them, or you're not following anyone else. Others are going to follow you. And don't worry about being copied or anything like that. That's not what this is about. This is about others seeing the benefit of the way in which you perceive the world, the way you perceive yourself, the way you perceive life, and wanting to feel that joy, that love, that awareness, that abundance that you feel within yourself simply by being yourself. And they will find their path, but you will be the one who set down the footprints for it to be possible. And that's a beautiful thing. It is a very, very beautiful thing. Okay, Capricorns, this was an amazing reading. I want to say thank you so much to your guides and my guides for facilitating the connection between our energies. Thank you so much to Spirit. Spirit, I always am so humbled to be here and to channel and to feel this fulfilled as we work together. So I want to say thank you so much. Thank you for bringing forth these messages. And Capricorns, thank you again for being here. If this resonated, please hit that like button. Don't forget to share it with your friends and family if you feel so inclined, but also subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. Down in the description box below, don't forget to go to the link for my author page. Sorry, my brain just like shut off. Go to the link for my author page and grab your copy of the Mars Retrograde Guidebook so that you work with these energies and not against them, and really, really transform your life. All right, Capricorns, I love you guys so much. Thank you again for being here, and I will see you next time. Bye.